In New York today, new video of Wendy Williams with the NYPD at her side.
Wendy, how you...
Did Wendy Williams just spill the names of the people who messed her up? Because if what's coming out is true, this story is darker than anyone thought. They tried to play her like she was weak, like her voice didn't matter anymore. But surprise, Wendy is back and she's talking. Reports say she's finally naming names, exposing the exact people who wanted her out of the picture just to get their hands on her money. Word around town says this wasn't just a simple health issue. This was a setup. Allegedly, they were filling her body with all kinds of stuff, keeping her in a fog for months until she couldn't even fight back. That's when her team swooped in, pretending to help, while allegedly draining her accounts behind her back. Her own son had been warning everyone for a long time, saying something wasn't right, but nobody listened. Instead, they painted him as the bad guy, claiming he was after her money when he was actually trying to protect her.
I feel like the Guardian has not done a good job at protecting my mom. As long as she has people around who are yes people, I know that she's not getting the help that she needs or getting better. I'm afraid that she could die.
I've got so much money. I want it for my son.
Now, people online are turning their eyes toward Wendy's guardian, Sabrina Morisi. Fans are calling her out, saying she might have had a hand in keeping Wendy down instead of helping her recover. Reports claim that before Sabrina came into the picture, Wendy was on the road to recovery. She was alert, improving, and ready to make a comeback. But once Sabrina took control, everything crashed fast. And here's where it gets real shady. There's talk that Sabrina spread that whole fake story about Wendy being permanently incapacitated when she really wasn't. Like, how can you label someone incapable when she's clearly trying to speak and defend herself now? People are demanding answers, calling for investigations, and questioning how something like this was ever allowed to happen to one of the biggest TV personalities ever.
How you doing? How you doing, Wendy Williams? How you doing, baby? You look good.
People were already side-eyeing Sabrina way before all this came out, because weeks earlier, reports said Wendy was actually doing better. So how did she suddenly go from getting back on her feet to being labeled completely incapacitated? Like, come on now. That doesn't add up at all. Folks are saying if Sabrina wanted to keep Wendy under that guardianship just to keep getting paid, she should have just said it straight instead of pretending it was for Wendy's protection. What's worse is that Wendy herself had already accused Sabrina of allegedly stealing from her. And when your own family starts saying the same thing, that's when it gets real messy. Wendy's son, Kevin Jr., said the doctor told them that her dementia wasn't random. It was alcohol-induced. But instead of helping her get clean, Sabrina allegedly kept giving her alcohol. Like, what kind of guardian does that? That's not care. That's destruction dressed up as help. Meanwhile, Wendy's own family wasn't even allowed to visit her. They were completely cut off, no updates, no contact, nothing. That's beyond suspicious, especially when the person in charge has full control of her money, her schedule, and even her health decisions.
I'd honestly like to sue my family, to be totally honest with you. I also would like to be able to share my story with the world and what they did to me instead of it being a hush-hush secret to benefit all of them. I want to be able to be heard on what they did to me by making me keep this in for so long is not good for my heart. I've been so angry and I cry every day. It concerns me. I'm told I'm not allowed to expose the people who did this to me. For my sanity, I need you, to the judge, to approve me, do an interview where I can be heard on what they did to me. And actually, I have the right to use my voice and take up for myself. My attorney says I can't, it's not good. I can't let the public know anything they did to me, and by not saying anything is saying it's okay. I don't know what I said here. It's not okay. Actually, I don't want to interview. I'd much rather just...
People online are calling it out loud, saying Sabrina wasn't protecting Wendy. She was protecting her own pockets. How do you claim to be looking out for someone while actively giving them the very thing that's ruining them? It's wild to think that a woman who built an entire career by speaking her truth could be trapped by the very people who were supposed to help her heal. Now, let's rewind to that wild claim Sabrina made, saying Wendy was permanently incapacitated. The moment Kevin Jr. heard that, he wasn't having it at all. He went straight to the Shade Room's comments and called it out for the lie he believed it was. He wasn't about to let anyone paint his mom as helpless when he knew the truth. And guess what? He was right. Because not long after that, Wendy was caught out in public doing her thing like nothing was wrong. She was spotted at a holistic store in New Jersey walking completely on her own. No assistance, no wheelchair, no nurse hovering around, just Wendy, moving with confidence. She even took a photo with one of the store's employees, and they later confirmed that Wendy seemed alert, happy, and totally in control. And it didn't stop there. Fans later saw her chatting it up, laughing, and posing for pictures like the Wendy everyone remembered. The internet went crazy with people saying, so what was all that talk about her being gone for good? It was proof that something about Sabrina's story didn't add up. How could she claim Wendy was completely incapable of managing herself when the woman was literally out shopping, smiling, and interacting with everyone around her? Wendy's been trying again and again to break free from that guardianship. But every single time, it's like the system shuts her down. It's almost as if the higher-ups are determined to keep her locked in that same position no matter what she says or does. Fans are saying it's not just coincidence, it's control.
Saying is, look, they tried to medicate me. I was exhausted. They wrongly diagnosed me. And they when I asked them, how much lithium did you want to put me on exactly? It took them 4 days to answer because they were embarrassed about the amount, right? And I refused to take this, right? You understand that if I had taken the medication, I would not be here, and it would have been, he was deeply troubled. We miss him. We love his music, though.
Well, they would have Britney Spears too. I mean, look.
They would have Michael Jackson
or worse, yeah.
So
Look at what they did. Look at what they did to Britney. When she went in, she was tired, she was exhausted, she was in a bad way. But 10 years of that medication wrecked her brain. You can see it now. You can see.
People online are even comparing Wendy's situation to what Britney Spears went through. And honestly, the similarities are hard to ignore. Remember when Britney finally spoke up in court and revealed how her own family allegedly filled her with heavy doses of lithium, all to make her look unstable? Well, folks are saying Wendy's story feels way too close to that same playbook. They're claiming that Wendy's being kept in a fog, kept ill on purpose, so she can't fight back or regain control of her life and money. And it doesn't stop there. Some are even bringing up Kanye West, saying these powerful people use the same pattern, label them as mentally unfit, take over their finances, isolate them, and then use the media to make them look crazy. It's a scary cycle, and Wendy might just be caught right in the middle of it. Kanye has also spoken out, saying the same exact tactic was used on him. They tried to label him as crazy, even though he insisted he wasn't sick. And now, people are starting to connect the dots, realizing this might be part of a much bigger pattern. When it comes to who might really be behind what's happening to Wendy, no one knows for sure. But a lot of folks online keep pointing fingers at Diddy. And honestly, when you start digging into their past, those accusations start to make sense. Wendy and Diddy go way back, but not in a friendly way. She got on his bad side years ago when she was still ruling the radio scene. Wendy had no filter back then, and she wasn't afraid to spill anything she heard. She once went live on air and made a wild claim, saying someone had sent her emails containing photos of Diddy on a private vacation in Mexico. And in those photos, another man was allegedly doing something very intimate to him. She told her audience all about it, and of course that set the industry on fire. That moment pretty much ended any peace between Wendy and Diddy. He was furious, and from that point forward, it's like things between them never recovered. So now, years later, people are wondering if that old grudge could be coming back to haunt her. And let's not forget that wild time when 19-year-old Shine ended up taking the fall for that infamous club shooting linked to Diddy. Everyone in the industry stayed silent, but Wendy, she was the only one bold enough to speak up and question the whole thing. She didn't care who got mad. She demanded that both Diddy and J-Lo be properly investigated instead of letting the blame fall on a teenager.
Wendy Williams, she got fired from Hot 97 because she had a picture of Puffy. So if you don't mind, give me the story from your point of view and what was in the picture.
We were in Cancun. For whatever reason, dude was playing with Puff. He went behind him and grabbed his trunks and pulled them down. Some girls that was taking pictures. They took that picture and emailed it back to Wendy Williams. Wendy Williams said she had him in a compromising position and like it was gay, something like that. She was gonna put it out. Wendy had shown people that email. Puff told Hot 97 if they didn't get rid of her before he got back in New York, that they was not gonna get any music from any of his friends, any of the record labels executives that was cool with him. Everybody was gonna boycott their station. We was out in LA for about 3 days before we landed back in New York. Wendy Williams was in the radio station in Philly. She was fired.
Wendy also called out Diddy's relationship with Cassie way before anyone else dared to say a word. She hinted that something wasn't right long before Cassie finally walked away years later. People thought Wendy was just stirring the pot, but looking back now, she might have been right all along. Eventually, it looked like Wendy and Diddy patched things up, at least in public. They even shared a few friendly moments that made it seem like the past was behind them. But many fans believe that was just for show, something Diddy wanted everyone to see, so no one would suspect tension was still brewing behind the scenes. There was also that tense interview between Wendy and Diddy that fans will never forget. Right in the middle of their conversation, Diddy randomly brought up Wendy's son, and the whole vibe in the room shifted instantly. Wendy's face changed, her energy dropped, and you could feel the tension through the screen. People who watched it said it felt like he was sending her a message without actually saying it outright. Many believe it was his way of warning her to stop talking about his business, or else. Viewers caught that moment instantly and it spread fast online. Everyone was saying the same thing, that Diddy's comment wasn't innocent at all. It sounded calculated, almost like he wanted to remind Wendy of what he could do if she crossed him again. The fact that he did it live on national television made it even scarier, because he knew millions were watching, including Wendy herself. Then, not long after all of that drama, it was announced that Wendy had been diagnosed with primary progressive aphasia and frontotemporal dementia. The timing felt way too strange for a lot of people. The internet exploded with questions and fans started putting two and two together, wondering if someone, possibly Diddy, had something to do with what happened to her. People can't stop asking the same haunting question. How does a woman go from hosting her own talk show with sharp wit and confidence to suddenly losing her voice and control over her life? The whole thing feels too coincidental, and the more that comes out, the more suspicious it all looks. Even while Wendy was battling her health issues, she still didn't hold back when it came to expressing how she really felt about Diddy's downfall.
Remember, I got off the air one day and them total bitches were downstairs waiting, and everybody upstairs at the radio station is looking down, egging it on, waiting for something to go down. I wasn't yet married. My knight in shining armor screeched up in his car just out of nowhere. I didn't even know what was about to happen. I'm standing in the door like, what? And I'm literally about to go through. Now, I'm not like, what, let's fight, because I'm not one of those type of broads. And plus, there was three of them. The little Chinese man that drove the van that they were coming. There was no security or anything. It was just them three fighting broads. And me. And my coworkers at Shot standing upstairs trying to look down to see it all jump off. They all knew. When I said goodnight to everybody's pressed up against the window. I didn't even walk or bother asking, what are you all looking for? Because you know when the clock strikes, it's time to go. It is time to go. I didn't get a chance to hit the sidewalk before I knew it, out of nowhere. And there's a whole bunch of rah-rah going on outside, and I'm still trying to figure out what the hell is going on. And I send Cower and Skell out on the sidewalk, and he comes back in and says,
When the news hit that he was behind bars, Wendy made it crystal clear. She was thrilled to see justice finally catching up to him. But that excitement didn't last long, because once she learned he was only sentenced to 4 years, she was absolutely shocked. She took to Instagram and dropped a powerful statement that had everyone talking. Wendy wrote, "What is really weird is that I have been told by so many people, Wendy, you called it," including some people from my family who have said the same. To see this video on TV of Cassie getting pummeled, it was just horrific. But now you have to think how many more times, how many people, how many more women. It's just so horrible. That post hit hard. Fans flooded the comments saying Wendy had been calling out Diddy's behavior for years, and people just didn't want to believe her back then. She was one of the first voices to ever question his power and reputation. And now, after everything that came out about Cassie, everyone realized she had been right all along. Still, the tragedy of it all is that Wendy has lost so much of her freedom because of what's allegedly been done to her behind closed doors. But let's be real, no matter what's happened, that sharp tongue and fearless attitude are still there. Even if she's speaking from a facility, Wendy's voice remains loud, clear, and unshakable. She's still letting the world know how she feels, and that alone proves nobody can silence her spirit. Meanwhile, fans are rallying around her like never before. One person wrote, "She needs to sue the crap out of the bank and everyone involved. No banking institution should ever be allowed to invoke a guardianship on someone." Another added, "I hope she's freed from that guardianship and sues every last one of them that held her hostage and stole her money." So now I'm turning it over to you. What do you think? Do you believe Wendy Williams was really drugged into illness? And what really sent chills down people's spines was how fast everything happened after that interview. 1 minute, Wendy was clapping back, doing interviews and planning her next big move. And the next, she was suddenly silent, cut off from the world and completely under someone else's control. Fans noticed that every time she tried to speak up about certain people or situations, something seemed to happen to shut her down. Some are now convinced that her diagnosis might have been used as a cover-up, a convenient excuse to keep her quiet while others took control of her assets and image. Even now, the pieces just don't fit right. Wendy's health, her finances, and even her freedom seem to crumble overnight, and people can't ignore how perfectly timed it all was. It's got everyone wondering, was this really about her being sick, or was it about silencing one of the boldest voices in entertainment who knew too much? And could her guardian truly have played a part in keeping her silenced like people are claiming? Drop your thoughts down below because this story just keeps getting messier by the minute. And if you made it this far, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more wild celebrity stories that'll leave you speechless.